Beautiful. This is gender blending. My name's Paige, and this is the show where you watch me while I talk. And tonight, in particular, I'm going to talk while I play Final Fantasy IX, which is very exciting for me in particular because this is my favorite game series, Final Fantasy is like one of my favorite just like franchises generally, but Final Fantasy IX is my favorite installment, and I've been playing this on stream, but it's been a couple of months since I've actually had the chance to jump in and play because I've been so busy trying to learn how to program. But here we are tonight, my last weekend before I start a new job, and I am going to progress the game. I don't know if we'll beat it tonight. I'm like 1/3 through the game, so that would be a monumental effort probably, but I feel pretty good right now. I've got a very good sativa weed, and I'm feeling very solid right now. I feel very motivated to just play this game and hang out. And I'm thinking that before we even progress any of the story of Final Fantasy IX, that I might just I might just play some Chocobo Hot and Cold and listen to Terrence McKenna, Honorable Nobles of Treno. Solid video reference. I've actually been doing a lot of work on my YouTube page recently. If you want to go give that a visit, I just threw the details in chat, and in one of my most recent videos, I actually referenced that, Ref. Thanks for being here, Ref. Always appreciate the support. I think it's gonna be a fun night. I have a pretty good recording of Terrence McKenna to listen to, which this is just becoming like one of my favorite like sort of default activities, but I also love going back and forth and talking. And I'm also trying to like get around to video editing. You know, now that the thing is I've been like bummed. I've been having a difficult time sort of trying to figure out what I'm going to do, but now it's like, you know, the puzzle pieces, they're sort of in place, and so now I'm just focusing on the things that I want to do, and one of those is definitely this stream, and doing video editing has been a lot of fun lately, so hopefully you'll enjoy those videos that come out. But I'm going to jump into the game, and I'm going to start out just by playing Chocobo Hot and Cold for fun and listening to Terrence McKenna until I get bored of that. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I just really want to do that. And so one of my favorite topics to hear Terrence talk about, and that is the odd, the strange, and the weird. My favorite things to hear Terrence talk about. I actually have really been trying to dig into the weird lately, and so to hear Terrence talk about that's gonna be a pleasure, because if there's anybody who has dug into the weird, it's Terrence. One thing I'll say before I play the video is that it does blow my mind, though, how in academic circles, psychedelics to me, it seemed like are like so common behind closed doors, but like you're not like kind of allowed to talk about it. And I'm gonna keep it really broad, but I just met some like kind of academics recently, and like all of them just like either had personal experience or were interested in the psychedelic experience, and it's like, I don't know why more people don't talk about it. Well, I guess because like legality and all of that, but seems like there's coming to be a wave, and hopefully just by playing Terrence, we're propagating that wave, and hopefully by watching me, the waves of novelty are inspiring some kind of thought wave that will help to change the world, because we'll make inventions based on chocobos and trees and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna play some Terrence McKenna and get into the game. So let me put on the game screen that I have here. This is a pretty good one. Quark. Quark is a solid word. Okay. So here's our game, and then let's just make sure that Terrence is playing and at a good level.
More as we were this morning. I talked more than I intended.
Okay, so that's a good volume. And then the only other thing I need to do before we really get this bus on the road so that we can hear Final Fantasy, and then we'll be good to go. Normally we only need to... Even on 1 or 2 is probably okay. Here we go. Cool. Let's see how that sounds. It's pretty loud, actually. You can turn it down to like that, probably. Like, really background. Maybe even further. Yeah, so this is going to be a part of my Final Fantasy series on YouTube. And, I've kind of always thought that might be like a fun series to do, so I'm gonna run through this, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was thinking about maybe playing Final Fantasy Tactics, but that's a little bit like scary because I suck so badly at Final Fantasy Tactics. I am so bad at it. It's like a genuinely challenging game. From what I recall, and so that would be a little bit scary to play on stream because I would rather do something I know well. But it's such a beautiful game. It's so good, and like it's so poignant as well, and the combat is so awesome. I love that a lot. So we got our audio going. I'll wait to play Terrence until we're in the Chocobo Garden. I'll do some Chocobo Garden and Lagoon hot and cold. But I'll start in the garden. I was, you know, it's weird. It's like I gotta watch my videos to edit them, obviously, but I'm barely like processing what I'm even saying in them, so I don't even know if they're good or not. I feel like they're like probably slightly trash because they're the first like videos that I've made online. But I'm learning like an immense amount actually just about like video production and doing all of this. It's kind of wild. Okay, so let's see if my controller is even working. It was working earlier, but sometimes it likes to be finicky. I think I need to click on the screen, and now it should probably work for us. And here we go. We can hear it all. We're gonna Yo, Chrysanthemum! So good to see you. I'm just jumping into some Final Fantasy IX if my controller will allow it. It seems like it's allowing it, at least slightly. And we're not even far in the game, but we have the dark blue chocobo because that's always what I prioritize, is getting a water-faring chocobo ASAP so that I feel less constrained to the islands. And so I'm gonna just head to the Chocobo Lagoon. Yo, Mr. D, are you a Final Fantasy IX fan? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Final Fantasy IX is my favorite installment in the Final Fantasy franchise. And the Final Fantasy franchise is probably my favorite franchise. I'm a big fan of role-playing games in general, and I've always loved JRPGs. And I don't know, like, I haven't really liked like a lot of JRPGs. I think the most recent one, I was thinking about, like, you never played. Oh, well, you're in for a treat tonight because this is a great game. You like 8 personally. 8's sick. I've actually been thinking about playing 8. It's a good game. I mean, honestly, I'm genuinely a fan of like pretty much every Final Fantasy, truthfully, and I'm really excited for future ones. But yeah, Mr. D, if you've never seen this game, then you're in for a treat. But I'm starting out by just doing this like mini game that I love. It's called Chocobo Hot and Cold, and I've streamed this a couple times, and I'll just play Terrence McKenna and play some Chocobo Hot and Cold because it's actually very cathartic. I don't know like how people don't play more Chocobo Hot and Cold, but it's probably one of my favorite mini games. Looks like Skyrim from the 18th century. 16 looks baller. I know, I'm really excited for the return to medieval times. And you know what I love about the look of this pre-rendered background, Mr. D, is I love the grass. I love how it looks so watercolored. And art is definitely another thing I've been trying to dig into more on the stream. I definitely want to get better at digital art. But let me get well, I'm kind of enjoying just talking, so I'll just play a couple rounds of this pure. It's getting cold here. Normally I put the speed up on, but I'm gonna play a pure round. The speed up makes it like a lot easier to win though, and it's also like fun. Of course I played Chrono Cross for sure, but it has been a minute. I don't remember like very much about the game, to be honest, but I've actually played it like 2 or 3 times. I do recall the battle system and really enjoying that, and I know that like your game has like sort of a similar battle system going on, which is pretty amazing. Well, the story might be asked, but there is a frog character, which is pretty ripped, I think. One of the RPGs from the PS1 era. Totally, exactly. And Midgar Freak 90, thank you. What an apropos name for this stream. And if you are a true 90s kid, born in 1990, like myself, that was a terrible round, but I'm just like talking right now. I'll focus on doing better later. I'm just kind of hanging out and chatting with everybody. Greatest Midgar, eh? Yeah, the freaking spirit, or what do you call it, the live stream is freaking emptier by the day, of course, but here we are in this stream and trying to refill everyone's mental live stream. Oh yeah, the reason I was doing bad is probably because like you go up here. I don't know if that's why I was missing them or not. I'm kind of just chilling right now. I'm actually like pretty amazing at this game, but I'm not super paying attention right now. No avalanche needed here. But there's a million reasons why Final Fantasy IX is my favorite video game, or my favorite Final Fantasy in particular. But I do love them all. I was talking about how I might play Final Fantasy Tactics next after I beat this game, but I don't know yet. We'll see. I was also thinking about like maybe doing Final Fantasy VI, but I've seen a lot of people do that recently. Part of the reason why I chose 9 is because like nobody plays this game, honestly. I'm gonna turn the speed on and play some runs with the speed on because that makes this a lot more fun. I believe I have to, let's see, I'll figure out the button here in a second. It might be F1, let's see. The speed is a very fun part of the remake. So let's see here if we can't figure out the control. Yes, it brought up the keyboard. So I get rid of that by doing this, I think. Well, this is unfortunate. We unpaused at least. I gotta look up the keyboard controls. Or the speed control. Speed control FF9 remake. This is an unfortunate damper. I definitely started the game with this like enabled, but there's supposed to be like a fast button. Yeah, it's definitely very late. So please enjoy your night, Raf. So R2 is to pause, and L2 can unpause. Oh, and there's the fast. That's actually, I tried to do this combination of buttons earlier, and I swear it wasn't working. But there we go. So now we can speed up. And I am going to speed up to play some Chocobo Hot and Cold. And I love playing Terrence McKenna, one of my favorite psychedelic talkers while I play this minigame. Me and my fiance's first dance song is going to be Melodies of Life at our wedding, followed by Eyes on Me from Final Fantasy VIII. I love those songs. Both of those songs are amazing, and Melodies of Life is actually one of my favorite songs to play on piano. If you check out my YouTube page, I have concerts on there, and I actually just played Melodies of Life on stream the other day. So if you check out my Twitch stream, I played it in there, but it was a little bit rusty because I haven't played it in a second, but I freaking love that song, and I've played so much Final Fantasy music on stream, and I want to do more. I want to do a whole stream that's just Hayao Miyazaki and like Final Fantasy and like Nintendo music and stuff. I mean, I've kind of already done that to an extent, but I haven't done like that specifically. So I'll play a couple of more games of this on speed run mode. I think I have to click back on the screen. I'll do this a couple more of this on speedrun mode and just like talk and chill, and then I'm gonna turn on Terrence McKenna and play this because that's like very meditative and fun for me. And then from there we'll actually progress the story, which is one of my favorite stories in all of video gameism. And you know, I was watching my recordings of playing through this to edit them, obviously, and I was really like surprised at some of my own commentary because I was like, oh my god, like I actually have more insights to this game than even I realized. I was just like casually observing things that like kind of came together for me in this like past playthrough. And I've played this game more than I've played any other video game probably, but I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Like I'm making points that I like rarely, or like I feel like maybe I've thought about them before, but like I just said them very well and interestingly. So I'm really excited about the series. Now I feel like there's pressure to do well with the rest of it because I think it's off to a good start. And so this is going to be another installment of it, and that's pretty cool. I never thought that I was going to stream. I'm a relatively new streamer. I started maybe in like, maybe I got set up in March, but I probably didn't start streaming until like April. And I'm definitely like still learning, like not only how to stream and like what I want to do, but also like I'm learning like the place of streaming in my life. I don't know. After this round I'll probably turn on Terrence McKenna because I'm very stoked for that. But the last thing I'll say before I do that is just that I've been smoking this like really terrible indica, and for those of you who aren't aware, I am not into indica weeds. They really affect me dramatically when I smoke indicas. I get very lethargic, relatively depressed, and I get really tired. But without weed, I would just like get even more depressed. So I still smoke it if it's all I have. And you know, I've been pretty broke, and all I had was indica, which I was grateful I had any weed at all. But I finally got some sativa weed with my landlady, of all people, recently. And so I'm feeling pretty good because I have a very nice bowl full of sativa. And, you know, I'm here playing my favorite minigame with all my favorite people in this very chat. So thank you very much for joining me. I'm hoping that I can bring more Final Fantasy, more RPGs, more transness to everyone's life. And, you know, I'm always game to talk about the trans experience or my own life. I always thought it'd be fun to just like answer questions or give advice on stream just because like it's fun to get like prompted for those sorts of things. But for now, I'm going to hand it over to Terrence McKenna, who's going to talk about the weird and the strange. I'm pretty excited for it. So we're going to hear about strange things tonight. And if you smoke, then please light up, enjoy Terrence McKenna. And I'll be playing this game. And sativa and a Final Fantasy soundtrack combined hits the soul. I know, right? I don't know if you know who Terrence McKenna is, but let me know what you think. I hope you appreciate it. It's pretty amazing stuff, and I love playing it on my stream. And normally I'll like pause and I'll just like comment on it as we go. So without further ado, here's some Terrence while I play this game. And this is a great recording. The quality is amazing.
Well, let's talk a little bit more as we were this morning.
I'm gonna turn it up.
This morning. What is anybody's take on this, or did anybody not get their licks in this morning? Yeah.
You mentioned the odd and strange and the weird. Other than hallucinogens, how can we fool this brain away from the ego?
It's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're in the situation we're in.
I'm talking about things we could do every day, not once a month.
Well, there's no substitute for awareness in any situation. I mean, part of the work, I think, is the spectacular episodes of intoxication that break down the boundaries of our personality and reorient us and recast it. But then the other thing is just living that out from day to day. And there's no substitute for hard work. I mean, people say, how can psychedelics be real? You're saying it's some kind of shortcut to spiritual wisdom. Well, it may be a shortcut, but nobody said it's easy. It isn't easy. No. It just is that it's ultimately effective. I don't know, I find myself preaching a doctrine that is hardly welcome in the touchy-feely circles that I'm usually teaching in, which is stifle it. Now there's a doctrine to take home from the New Age. Stifle it, The ego is much too large. I mean, we need an ego, yes. That's so that if you take somebody to dinner, you know whose mouth to put food in. That's having an ego. But above and beyond that, it becomes sort of superfluous. It's a habit. It's a bad habit. It's an infantile response that has been culturally supported.
Yo, Jilly, thanks for showing up.
Institutionalized.
I'm playing some Final Fantasy IX. Terrence McKenna's talking about the weird.
Transcend or transform it, though. The reason I'm saying that is because I've seen a lot of teenagers in the city, and then they experiment a lot with drugs, and especially with psychedelics. And sometimes I wonder if they're really getting anything out of that early experimentation.
Oh, yo. Well, thanks for lurking. I appreciate it so
it's a
much.
real complicated question.
I actually am not feeling that tired, but I've had like a very
evolved folkways.
I've had a day that's given me a lot of energy, and I've been kind of like prepping all day to do this. I've been doing like
part of the question I hear you asking is, you say that these drugs dissolve the ego, but aren't.
I've been doing like so much video editing. Oh, I'm in the middle of a game. Shit. I've been doing so much video editing. Why it's not letting me like go back into the game here. Here we go. I've been doing all this video editing, and now I don't even remember what I was saying about doing video editing. Oh yeah. And like it's been psyching me up to do like new content, and so all day I've been like uploading videos, and I got a late start because I really wanted to get all the ones uploaded that I could today, and so I kind of got on later, but I was like basically prepped and set up to do it all day, so I definitely wanted to get on. But it's totally worth it because this is just gonna be a YouTube video later, and like that's what I'm stoked for. I'm stoked to just have a series of these like really weird videos where I just play this fucking game and just listen to Terrence McKenna, especially when he's talking about the weird. I'm just so into it. And we have another one after this that we could listen to if we exhaust our Terrence McKenna supply from this first video. And also, Chocobo High and Cold, just to me, doesn't get old. It's a timeless mini game, and I could probably play it for as long as I play Final Fantasy itself. And I thought like it'd just be kind of funny to like farm up a ton of points in this game since I just enjoy it so much. and like there's no losing. Like, you can't lose, and I like games like that. I like games that are just fun. It's like Cookie Clicker, but not logarithmic. It's linear. Or no, it's not linear either. It's like shitty, because like the more you do it, the less you get in a certain way, the less of a percentage of your overall amount. So it's the opposite of Cookie Clicker in that way. Okay, I'll look at Terrence McKenna back up. So cute. Oh my god, thanks. I mean, cute is what I aim for. Was that the band name? Cute is what we aim for? I don't know. I know cute without the E. That was that one band. It's been so long since I thought about like emo bands. Oh my god. I've been like so in the realm of classical music lately that that's just like where I've been. There's this one piece that I would play, but I'd get like probably muted, and I don't want to get muted tonight, by Enrique Granados that I've been playing. That's just like so nuts. But I don't know, I just brought that up because that's what I've been listening to instead of emo music, is just listening. Yeah, being emo was the thing for sure. I was definitely very tight jeans, very pinstripes, very black everything mostly. It definitely like let me express my feminine self in a way that was very freeing to me at the time. Okay, I'm gonna play some more Terrence McKenna here, and more hot and cold.
And I think probably you're right.
So much eyeliner.
It's not clear that the onset of puberty, when there's a good deal of psychosexual and endocrine confusion going on anyway, is the precise right moment that you want to drop these psychedelics on somebody. Although this is done in many traditional societies. But the problem is that in societies where there is shamanism, there's an understood way to do it. There's an understood way to initiate somebody. Kids growing up on the streets taking drugs of all sorts in doses of all sorts, it's very hard to sort it out. You know, I mean, people don't have intent, they don't have focus, they don't have information. They're just, everything is so fragmented in modern life. Part of what all this yammering about shamanism might eventually lead to is the reformation of psychotherapy along the lines of a shamanic style, so that then people could have these voyages, could have the insight into their problems that you get from psychedelics.
Also in those cultures and societies where they do use the psychotropic drug at puberty, I think those societies support the individual, the child growing up in very positive ways and feed their ego in a very constructive, positive way, so that they are not filled with a lot of self-consciousness and self-hatred and lack of self-worth and so forth, a lot of the critical nature that I think, and the lack of nurturing and attention that a lot of the adolescents grow up in our society with, that then get weak egos from adolescence on into adulthood. And I think the developmental quality of life in different cultures has a lot to do with one's ability to utilize the drug, the plants effectively.
Cooperation is just an automatic response among many of these rainforest hunting, gathering people. I mean, when you finish a job, it isn't your job. When you finish a job, you go on and you do another job until all the jobs are done. And this is clearly a learned response, because these are human beings just like us, but under the extreme pressure of being, 20 people trying to hold it together in the rainforest through gathering, they have accepted that the tribal unit is the lowest common denominator, and that everything has to operate in the light of that. Becky?
I felt that part of what was being discussed here was the difference between discursive and one-pointed meditation. And discursive meditation is like meditating on the Stations of the Cross if you're Catholic, or the seven sheaths of the Self if you're a Hindu. And it sort of serves years of doing that as establishing a ladder that can take you to the transcendent. And that one-pointed meditation, and even more profoundly, the use of psychedelics can suddenly put you into a transcendent state. And whether you'll have the capacity to get back is the question. And so that there might be a role for a period of discursive meditation or an education along that way before something that instantly propelled you into an experience of the transcendent.
Yes, although this difficulty getting back is an interesting thing to talk about, because I certainly know what you mean. I think everybody who takes psychedelics a lot eventually has a trip that stands their hair on end. And the reasonable fear I've always felt about psychedelics was not that it would kill you. That's not reasonable. But the somewhat murkier question, could it drive you mad, is a little harder to just, of course not, because, hell, why not? I mean, it's definitely rubbing up against those areas. But I have real faith that it is, it's like flipping a coin and getting it to land on its edge. The psychedelic experience represents such a state of disequilibrium that in almost all cases, the entire system is striving to return to normal, and will do so very quickly. My life is built around one spectacular exception, where my brother took a bunch of things and had a theory and proceeded to sail off for the better part of 3 weeks. And this sort of brings up another issue. We sit here relatively down and calm, and we can talk about the LD50 of psilocybin. That's how much you would have to give to 100 mice for 50 of them to die. This is what pharmacologists are all about. But when you're actually stoned in these places, you realize, or you have the apparent realization, that of course the mind is in control. And
The
talking
mind
about
is in
safety,
control.
you're only as safe as you think you are, literally. And if for a moment you decide you're not safe, the state is very fragile. It's skittery. Get it going too fast in one direction, and it will be very hard to run around and get in front of it and get it halted and moving off in some other direction.
Is that what you meant by self-toxicity?
Did I use that phrase this morning?
No, in a past tape you did mention about
you
self-toxicity and negative effects, possible negative effects.
Well, yeah, I think this is what people fear, that they are self-toxic. And we have all been disempowered. To some degree, we are self-toxic. That's a real tragedy. It means we have been made our own enemies. And then, whether we are or not, we all fear self-toxicity. This is why in the 60s, when LSD first began to appear, people had such violent reactions to it. Tim Leary said, LSD is a psychedelic drug which causes psychotic behavior in people who haven't taken it. This is absolutely true. Well, why would a drug that you don't take cause you to become psychotic? It's because the mere fact of its existence is so threatening to you, because you know that you're self-toxic. That's what I always felt in the 60s. These people all know they're crazy, and they don't want to get near anything which would perturb their psychic dynamics. They know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're certifiably insane, and they don't want to hear about it. So they're not going to be delving into something which shines a Klieg light on the mechanics of the psyche. It's the last thing that they are interested in.
If the definition of ego is the sort of reality testing mode of the psyche's ability to perceive reality, then it almost seems that the psychedelic experience augments the ego to a new level rather than extinguishes the ego. That it gives a truer picture of reality.
Well, you know, Freud had this concept that he called the superego. And this term has somewhat fallen out of use, and because we all tend to be a little more Jungian than that, and we talk about the collective unconscious. But in a way, though I'm more sympathetic to Jung, I like the phrase superego because the phrase collective unconscious is a kind of blah concept. It's like a data bank, a repository, where superego seems to imply organization, intelligence, focus, awareness. And what seems to emerge from these psychedelic experiences is that where we expected disorder or the absence of organization, we find order and we find mindedness. The superego seems to be everywhere. So in a way, it is like that. It is that you're becoming more informed.
So good to see you.
Your personal.
Thanks for dropping. I'll take a couple different drinks. Thanks for reminding me.
We believe, and it may be true, but the question is how important.
I should have muted before I actually took that sip, though. I'm always repeatedly reminded of how audible sips of drinks are on a stream when I'm doing video editing, which is what I've been up to for the last several days. So that's basically what I have to talk about mostly, is just video editing, because that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing mostly. I think we're at a point where I can essentially stop actually playing Chocobo Hot and Cold here. I'm gonna move to the Chocobo Lagoon. I'm gonna play a little bit there. I'm gonna try and maybe get some missing chocographs that I have, and then I'll progress the game a little bit. So I'll leave Terrence McKenna on for now as I run over to the other continent to do Chocobo Hot and Cold in the lagoon.
Rather than something interiorized. And I think, thousands and thousands of generations of people were born and lived and went into the ground with this kind of a psychology. And we are all imprisoned by our cultural expectations to such a degree that the real problem is to make ourselves realize how blind we are, how much what we've been taught, the words we use, the expectations we have, hem us in. And the psychedelics show that cultural relativism, not as an exercise, not as something that you're convinced of by rational argument, but that you just see it immediately. See, I think we are very malleable creatures and have held many positions in the last 10,000 years vis-a-vis these structures which we call the ego, the superego, the self, the unconscious. It's more fluid than we imagine. Language may have emerged only 40,000 years ago. Well, imagine that. Language is the software without which we wouldn't be people. I mean, language allows us to explore realms of subtlety and inclusive understanding that so exceed the animal grasp that
I don't know how to get rid of that, to be honest. But I'm gonna play this until I get to the end. Okay.
I think probably in the beginning that language was something that women held almost as a magical power.
Let's see.
The reason
How
for
do I
this
close
is
out?
that there was greater selective pressure on women than on men to develop
Let's
language,
see. Can I
because
press
the
this?
the
Oh, there we go.
physically larger male, when there began to be role specialization, the physically larger male was made a hunter, and hunting places a premium on such values as stoicism, patience, and an ability to keep your mouth shut. The women were involved in gathering, and because the children were physically with the women, this area in which the gathering went on was more tightly related to the living space. Well, if you know anything about the science of botany, you know that it is a science of the coordination of detail. Everything is about the detail. Here you have 50 species of grasses. To Joe Blow, they all look exactly the same. To a specialist in the Gramineae, here is a whole rich universe of taxonomic diversity to be combed over and milked for years as you advance through the academic machinery. So women had to learn all these differentiations. Women had to be able to make statements like, it's the small bush at the bottom of the draw with the wrinkled leaves and the sticky white berries with the silver hairs on them. See, it's all color, shape, form, and relationship words. Well, this kind of language is the kind of language that gave us a leg up on animal organization. After a passage of time, I think this linguistic thing generally established itself. But it was originally a thing that women were into. Even to this day, when you go
Women
into
were
villages
into it.
in third world parts of the planet, there's this phrase in all travel books, which is the chattering
that's
of the
necessarily
village women. And
accurate.
it's true, they really do chatter. And it's because they are more collective creatures. The male is this proud, lonely,
Women were the first
hunting
programmers.
figure, and the females represent, the village values. And they held the knowledge of the plants. They discovered all this stuff. You even get that
wanna
in
hold
the
the
Eden
knowledge of the
story. It's a
plants.
woman who's blamed. Somehow these women have a deeper insight. The poor guy is just led to slaughter because he's trying to get some chow.
Perhaps an appropriate image would be one of climbing a temple. I always think of Borobudur, which is probably the most impressive temple that I've ever visited. But there, as you walk up the temple, if you pay attention, you're having a whole experience of Buddhism and different symbologies, but also just basically your vision of the surrounding jungle expands and your sense of self diminishes. So,
because you see the larger world.
You see the larger world from up on top.
Yeah, from the center of the mandala.
Yeah.
The same psychology is operating on the Mayan buildings. I mean, the Mayan buildings are barely buildings at all. They're more like pedestals. I mean, this thing is, 230 feet high, but when you climb to the top of it, there's room for 12 guys to stand shoulder to shoulder, and that's the building. And it's clearly, entirely, to elevate them above the social space. It was literally a machine for lifting the priesthood into another dimension. And the dimension into which it lifted them was an aerial dimension. They could see the whole world. They could see the Sak bays stretching out to the next pyramid. They could see the next pyramid 5 or 10 miles away on the horizon and could see the life of the city and all this. There's a funny thing. It's almost as though biology and then its ancillary tack-on phenomenon, culture, is a kind of conquest of dimensions that has been going on for a very long time, and this aids me anyway in understanding the transformation that I think lies ahead for this planet. The earliest forms of life had only a tactile sense. That means all they knew was what they were bumping up against. and they would move around, and what was edible was eaten, and what wasn't. And then a long time passed, 100 million, 200 million years, and certain specialized cells aggregated. And these cells were light-sensitive cells. They could send an on-off signal based on whether or not photons were falling on them. So eye spots developed. And eye spots are just these sensors which tell you if it's light or dark. And suddenly these creatures could move off after a light source or could retreat from danger into a dark spot. Well, then eventually these eye spots evolved into the kinds of very finely coordinated optical systems that we have and octopi have and so forth. At the same time, motility was developing, the ability to move through space. Well, have you ever noticed that when you look at something and at a place a few feet from where you're sitting and then go there, physically move there, that what you have really done is you have coordinated a short trip into the future, because you have looked at a spot and you have said, this is how the brain computer works, it has said, I am not in that place. I want to be in that place. I am in this place now. To get from this place now to that place then, I have to move through the following points. And when animals began to move, another dimension was added to their repertoire of control. And when they began to coordinate vision, another dimension was added to their repertoire of control. Well, we made then a great and fundamental break in our neurological organization. All animal life, as far as we can tell, is imprisoned between very steep temporal canyons having to do with the present moment. Animals are in the present moment in a way that would be very frightening to us, I think. If you could suddenly enter the mind of an animal, the immediate thing that you would notice that would really unnerve you was the absence of a past and a future. That just, you talk about be there now, an animal has that down.
Oh gosh, temporal canyons got me. Oh my god. Life is a dream and we're all in it. And I'm so glad that you're here with me for it. I hope that you're having a good night. This is Gender Blending. My name is Paige. I'm having an exceedingly good night. Just, doing this. If you're here, you know what we're doing at this point, right? I mean, it probably needs no explanation. I've been doing a lot of video editing tonight, and it's been really rewarding, and I'm excited to watch this video. If you're here, thank you so much for being here and watching me play this game, and I hope that you're enjoying listening to Terrence McKenna talk about neural canyons or something. It was something about the brain canyons. Temporal canyons. No, it's seriously amazing work. But I swear, Terrence is just like the most amazing speaker. There's something very tactile about his speaking that I wish to emulate. But like Socrates with his teacher, I feel like I cannot emulate. But maybe one day. Alright, let's get back into the talk. I'm enjoying it so much. It's so good. This is the odd, the strange, and the weird. And if you're enjoying this, if you enjoy my content at all, I change it up a lot. I do a lot of different stuff. I haven't played games in a while, but I'm having a lot of fun doing this. You can check out my YouTube. I'm trying to be more active there. I'm playing Final Fantasy tonight, and you can check out my series. I'm trying to upload it there. as much as I can. So thanks for being a part of this, and I hope you enjoy more Terrence McKenna and me.
Pat, well, when we, through language, that was the great, language is a strategy for binding time. Language is a strategy for taking the animal mind locked in the present moment and pushing it back, conceivably, to the creation of the universe as we do, and forward conceivably to the end of the universe. So culture is a strategy for intensifying the dimensionality of an animal species. And when you then get into what's called epigenetic coding, not simply being able to recall the past neurologically and project the future neurologically, but to actually write down the past and calculate the future, well, then what is happening is mind is spreading out through the dimensions available to it. And this whole cultural intensification that we call the 20th century, the spinning down and interconnecting of technologies and animal ecosystems and philosophical systems, all this knitting together is a going hyperdimensional of our species, that yet more of the future and more of the past is apparently to be realized. And if you know anything about virtual reality thinking, there time is to be homogenized completely. I mean, you will not be able to tell whether it's next week or last week, because they will be approximately equally accessible. And somehow the psychedelic experience is related to this bootstrapping process.
So I'm gonna just, I wish I could just turn off the sound easier from Final Fantasy. It's kind of hard to do so. I have to go here and I have to like turn my sound down, but I'll just do that. That's fine. Something Terrence McKenna just mentioned, that's like so trippy, is how time and this sort of hyperdimensional reality would be something where next week and last week would be equally accessible. And I've thought about this. I'm trying to like, how do you like think about what's past any sort of a singularity, right? You kind of can't, but one of the ramifications of this development is that all realities would be accessible. And so essentially every moment you could basically create a save state to return to. And so you could just like kind of keep retrying if you desired. But there would still somehow be linear time, because I believe that's how we'd be navigating it. We wouldn't like see travel through time. I don't think you'd see it. I think you would just experience it. I don't know. I think it's all virtual. It's fun to think about, but I think that it's gonna be mostly virtual reality, and that we're gonna simulate past realities, and it's gonna be recordings of future realities, or simulations of parallel future realities. Okay. There's this thing about save states that I want to say, but I haven't figured out the best way to enunciate it yet. I was trying to say it, but maybe another day.
Have a little piece of mind, a little chunk of this higher order organization. Well, then, going toward that as visionaries, as users of psychedelics, society keeps adjusting its trim tabs, as it were, to mirror this transcendental goal. And this is what we want to become. We want to become like the sensed object in our imagination. And shamanism is a pipeline about this. It's almost as though the end state, well, here's a model for it. It's almost as though the ordinary causal flow of information from the past to the future must make a place for like a 3 to 5% backward flow. And this is what we call intuition. It's that vague, unformed knowing that comes without any baggage of causal mechanism, but it's true knowledge. You know how it's going to be. Well, it may be that time is somehow information permeable, that future potential states of existence are actually somehow in resonance with states of existence in the present and in the past. Our models of how the world works are very, very simple. I mean, basically we operate with mechanical push-pull models that are appropriate to very simple mechanical systems, and yet we know that we are far more complex even than the most complex physical systems. This last 15,000 years has been something, and the last 500 years has really been something. It's so close now, the transcendental object, that it informs everything. The metaphor, the model to hold in your mind as you gaze at the earth in its travail is the metaphor of birth, not death. That a gestation process of 20,000 years is coming to an end. Culture using, language using, minded creatures are coming to some kind of fermentative climax. And we cannot extrapolate the human career on this planet centuries into the future. It ain't going to be like that. It's an absurd question to ask the question, what will the world be like in 500 years? What the world will be like in 500 years is unimaginable, because in the next 40 years, we are going to pass through this quantized transition where we actually become insiders and players in the game. History is a state of becoming. It's a state of moving from the inarticulate, unreflecting, animal style of organization to the self-reflecting, minded, conscious, energy-controlling style. But to get from one to the other takes about 20,000 years, and it's a bitch. You don't know where you are. You don't know up from down. You cannot tell what is happening. There's just migrations and warfare and pogroms and gene mixing and hysteria of every sort and Messiah this and religion that, and they're slaughtering these people and these people are doing this. And it's like a bad dream. It's like a psychedelic trip is what it's like. It's a 15 to 25,000 year dash to authentic being from the animal body. And it would have been a lot easier to understand if 10,000 years ago we hadn't cut the telephone wire to nature. Because from then on we haven't been able to figure out what's going on. And it's been left to men with large egos to figure out what was going on. And what they figured out was going on was that there was a lot of free women, land, animals, and money that needed to be organized for their pleasure, because they lost the connection to this planetary birth process. Now, and like a birth process, I mean, the metaphor is worth pursuing, because a birth is violent, blood is shed, there's moaning and groaning and thrashing around, and yet this is not an automobile accident. This is not a human tragedy. This is how life works. This is centrally scripted in to how human beings operate. If this didn't happen, we wouldn't be here. Well, and yet, if you've ever been pregnant or been around a pregnant person, this is a wonderful state of equilibrium,
Thanks,
of self-satisfaction, of completion, and yet the very fact that it exists ensures that it's going to be rent, it's going to be torn, it's going to end violently in separation of these two beings. But then there are all kinds of births. There's stillbirth, the most disturbing and unsettling of all. There's, breech, there's cesarean, there's bad presentation, there's easy labors, hard labors. And I think this is the choice that we still have some choices left. And a choice still to be made is it going to be a hard labor or an easy labor? It's how fast we educate ourselves. That's the lubrication in the birth canal of this pup. How fast we educate ourselves. Are we going to fight it, or are we going to go with it? And it's really frightening. I mean, because what we want is, first of all, forgiveness for what we've done, which ain't likely to come. And then we want to go back and paint ourselves blue and be tribal and turn our back on all of this. But I don't think it's going to be like that. It's propelling us to some kind of higher order. The faith is that history must have been for something, and that everything is to be knitted together, and everything is to be reborn anew. And I don't think this is not a religious doctrine exactly. It's more like the biological faith. I mean, we see it everywhere. We see it in the birth that I was just describing. We see it in the metamorphosis of insects. Heraclitus said, "Puntit rea," all flows. And I think that this is the hardest thing to learn. It certainly has been the hardest thing for me to learn in my life. And I assume then, by extrapolation, maybe this is one of the hard things to come to terms with. Everything flows. Nothing lasts. I mean, not the travail, not the horror, not the women you love, not the women who drive you crazy, not the children you love, not the children that drive you crazy. Everything is in the process of changing into something else, even at the very moment that you recognize its coherence as an entity. And this is the bad news that the ego doesn't want to hear. This is what the ego is created to deny, because the ego is, it's the effort of flesh to make diamond, and it can't be done. You cannot make an indestructible, adamantine, clear substance. It can't be done. But it's all tied up with our fear of death. We assume that if we release ourselves into this flow, we will be swept away, that our identity will cease to exist, that we will somehow not be there. This is an artifact of language. It's a horrible misunderstanding about who we are and how the whole system is working.
Are you using language as a better word, more than just a syntactic, symbols that we're using?
Well, no, that's all I mean, but I'm really aware of what a funny thing it is. You talk about other dimensions. Language is like an informational creature of some sort. I mean, languages live, they reproduce themselves.
Virus.
Yes, it's a kind of virus. William Burroughs said this. He said English is a virus from outer space. I have no quarrel with this. This seems entirely reasonable. It's a very strange thing. Reality is made out of language. And for most of the people in this room, it's made out of English. And yet we spend a great deal of time worrying about quarks and mu mesons and electromagnetic radiation. And all this is entirely a fiction. None of this stuff exists. All that exists are words. And we play a game, a really fairly insidious game with ourselves. We all, I suppose, here give great credence to what is called quantum physics. Is there anyone here who would care to explain to the group several of the core doctrines of quantum physics? Or any core doctrine? And by explain, I don't mean a verbal gloss. I mean give us the hardcore equations. Well, no one seems to be coming forth. And yet, this is our truth. How crazy are you if your truth is something you can't even understand? And that's the situation that we're in. We believe that somewhere among us, somebody understands these tensor equations of the third degree, and that if it got real tight, we could go to them and they would then explain what reality is. Well, this is a head full of shit, this kind of thinking. What you are actually dealing with is what Wittgenstein called the present at hand. The present at hand. Good phrase, because it implies that only that which can be grasped matters. And the quark cannot be grasped, the mu meson, the electromagnetic field. None of this. These things need to be understood for what they are, which
is going well. Not too much is happening. Just playing some Final Fantasy, of course. Listening to Terrence talk about the odd, the strange, and the weird. Right now, I'm kind of not doing anything serious in Final Fantasy. I was just like playing Chocobo Hot and Cold. And now I'm gonna drop off a Stelazio, which is like a bonus item. Kind of a side quest type situation here. Yeah, I started on Monday. Good memory, for sure. That's exactly it. Yeah, and so I'm gonna start streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. And we'll see what that's like. I'll probably stream more than that if I can. I mean, this is gonna be like one of my main efforts, sort of, in life, generally. 15K is not a lot for the auction house here, so I'm just gonna leave for a second. And I might progress the story. I was gonna go do some frog hunting, just to have that minigame done. But anyways, yeah, I do start my new job. And my last several days have been mostly just justifying my existence in capitalism. It's been quite a lot with just errands, so it's nice to be able to just chill and stream tonight. And I'm about to go do some frogs. Sounds like a good streaming schedule, evening streams. Yeah, pretty much. I am kind of into nights, and I think it'll be pretty good. And I think that my work schedule should fit pretty well for streaming, so it'll be pretty cool. And I'm trying to think if I like want to do like a regular like sort of types of episodes, whether it might be like, okay, Tuesdays are art, or this day is this. They're like mostly tadpoles, so we don't want to catch them just yet. I done catching. Susquina. Okay, so we'll pretty much progress the story, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm supposed to go to the Desert Palace, which is probably like one of my least favorite places in the game. I might have said that before. But you know, you gotta play the whole game if you want to play the game, right? So that's alright. And the reason that people don't normally like this place is that you have to split your party. Now, most of my party is not bad, but I haven't leveled Dagger up because I knew I wasn't going to use her. I wasn't sure who else I would use. I think we'll keep Steiner in one party. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, this actually seems like a pretty good split the way that it is of damage and magic. I think I'll leave the groups like this, probably. I wish I could switch Freya out for Quina, but Quina's not going to do much for me here. You try to do specific themes on different days for your streams, but you found it very taxing to plan for them. Yeah, I know, that's the thing that I was worried about. I think, like, to one degree, that consistency is just, like, pretty much good. Oh, well, I was gonna switch out their items, but actually, I'm gonna have to use everyone, so it doesn't matter what items people have. Seems like people have a very easy time finding and planning content. Yeah, you know, I feel like my content, I go back and forth. Like, sometimes I feel very inspired to create, like, something specific, and then other times I'm not sure what to do, but I just want to, like, get out there and just do anything. So it goes both ways for me, for sure. I'm glad I'm gonna get level up here, but I'd say lately I've felt really good, at least about the stuff that I'm editing in particular. My streams have been okay. I want to do more music streams because honestly I've been spending a lot of time playing music and I feel like I'm getting a lot better. I must have long range in Zidane, which is weird. I don't normally have that this early in the game. Let's see. Oh, I do have long range, but I'm not using it, so he should actually be in the front line. And I think the rest of my party's good, so I can save, probably. It's not even, like, very important for me to. Before I progress the story, I think that I might take a quick break here. I've been streaming for an hour and 40 minutes, and I'd just like a drink and a snack really quickly. So here's what I'm gonna do, is I'm going to go back into the game real quick, and I'm gonna close out, and I'm gonna save really quickly, and then I'll put on our BRB screen. Streaming as in life in general. I should do whatever makes me happy and is least stressful. Yeah, right? Yeah, the question is, what is least stressful? That's what I've been dealing with a lot lately. Okay, I will be back shortly. And I'm very excited to be back to push the story forward in one of my favorite games of all time. Talk to you all very soon. Hello! This is when I wish I could pull off the, like, the sort of, like, hello, my children. Like, the witchy vibes. But I feel like I can't. I feel like I don't have that aesthetic. I got more of that hippie mother vibe, you know? Just spreading peace and love and just growing flowers. I don't know. Kind of becoming a bog witch a little bit. Well, a little bit. Because I'm literally living on a farm. And if you'll notice, there's been a change in my attire. In particular, with an upgrade to my coat situation. And that's because of a downgrade to my warmth situation. And the downgrade to my warmth situation is that there's no more wood in the fire. And despite my best efforts to bring as much wood inside as possible, we are out of wood inside. And it's the middle of the night, and we have logs outside that I could pull in and I could start a fire if I wanted. But I'm not going to do that right now. And instead I'm going to stay warm with the fire of my heart. Ah, what's in the bottle on the table? I'm glad that you asked. No one's asked about that bottle yet. But it's been in my scene a lot lately. And it's just like, it's a knickknack. It's just something that I have. And I've had it for a long time. Cause my friends and I had two good friends in college, and we decided to go to Cape Cod, which, for those of you who aren't familiar with Cape Cod, they make potato chips there. But more particularly, it's on the southeastern part of Massachusetts, and it's a coastal cod area. And we used to go there sometimes because we were going to school in generally that region. It was still pretty far to the beaches of Cape Cod, but it was like reasonable drive, you know. And there was one night where we decided to go and just spend a whole night on the beach, all night. And we like walked out on this like sweet like stretch of rocks that goes out like a mile into the ocean. And we waited for the sunrise there. And we brought that bottle. And that bottle is a sparkling cider bottle. And we spent the whole night, so it's hard to tell, but the top of the bottle is actually still on it because we didn't bring a bottle. It's so funny that you say it's sentimental of me, because me and my landlady actually had a very in-depth discussion of sentimentality earlier today. That's so funny. We were talking about being sentimental, and I said that I was a sentimental person. And my example of sentimentality was that I'm someone who holds on to things from exes. And I hold on to things from friends too. That's an example of holding on to something from friends. My landlady said that that wasn't sentimentality. My landlady said that that was like something else, I forget. But I don't know, I think that's so funny that you call it sentimental. I thought it's sentimental too. But anyways, I didn't even finish the bottle story. Because the bottle story is that we were gonna drink it, right? But we didn't bring a bottle opener to the beach. And so I could show you. I'll get it. I'll go get the bottle. Hold on one second. I have a scarf here in case I need it. But if you look at the top, we never got the top off. We just like broke into this bottle via rocks. We just broke through the top here. And then we drank this like very shitty cider through the top of this bottle that we broke. And then, after we drank all the cider, we filled it with sand and sticks from the beach. And then somehow I left it. I don't know. Somehow I was the one who got it. I also have another good collectible here, and that's Larry. I haven't talked about Larry, but he's been in all of my shots. It's hard for you to see Larry right now, though. He blends into the background, but he's right there. Right there, and that's like a little tin knight that I have. I'm not gonna get Larry right now because Larry breaks easily. He's very sensitive. Okay. So I had a pretty good break. I got some food, which was really important. Turned out that I was dying of hunger. And I satiated my tummy on the break, and I've got a whole bowl that is completely green, which is something you like to see. I had some edibles earlier. Unfortunately, I feel like the edibles have left my system, which is unfortunate. They don't make edibles last long enough, in my opinion. And also, like, I don't understand what's with the low dose of edibles. Like, they should really sell 1,000 milligram packs of edibles, and each edible is 100 milligrams. It's like my room is a diary. Oh, thank you! My whole life is a diary, and yeah, it seriously is. My whole room is just lined with memories. I have so many things. Let me see what else I have here. Hold on. Check this. So I actually, like, I put my feet up on something while I stream, and that's this ammo box. I have this random ammo box of 762 millimeter ammo, but it doesn't have bullets in it. Rather, it just has memories. So let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Also, just to give you to paint a word picture for you, this box smells like incense because I used to keep incense in here. I have a baseball in here. The baseball has no meaning to me. I found it on the street, I think, when I was like a kid, and I held on to it. I have a wristband that I wore when I thought that wristbands were cool. Oh, and that's a corporal patch from being in the military, because I was in the military. And I used to wear wristbands when I thought that was a thing to do, but I don't think that's a thing anymore. This is a hacky sack my friend gave me. I have a better hacky sack than this, but this is just the one that my friend gave me. This is one of my incense holders. It's kind of nice, I think. There's nothing else really good in this one. Oh, I do have this. Hold on. Where is it? This is a pretty good one. I have this finger skateboard, this Tony Hawk finger skateboard. So I could try and do an ollie on stream, but probably not. Okay. Is there anything else in here? Oh, I have this sick ass carabiner. This could actually be helpful one day. That's kind of cool. Nothing else in this box, but I have a bunch of other good memories all over the room. So you're right, it is like my room's a diary. Thank you for noticing. And it's like my diary is an open book for the whole world. Sick fingerboarding, thanks. It's the first time I have fingerboarded since I was since I got that, basically, when I was, I don't know how old, 12, 13. I have some Game Boys behind me too. Those are some good memories. Those aren't really diary things though. What other diary stuff do I have? I mean, I have this dice. You can see the dice behind me. I found that in the trash, that D6 that's on that drawer right there. I found that in the trash, which is pretty cool. I have this kind of sweet painting that used to be in my room. Or it used to be on my scene on the stream, but now it's behind my computer, so you can't see it. But I found that in the trash. I found a lot of art in trash in the cities, and I would just take those, because art shouldn't be in the trash. It should be on walls and stuff, you know? So this is chromed lemons weed that I'm smoking right now, and it's a little bit weak. It's a little bit on the weak side, but it's at least a sativa, which is better than an indica in the sense that this isn't putting me to sleep. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my playlist. I'm gonna turn up the desktop audio just a little. So now we got the Final Fantasy going on. Now, if there is anyone new here, this is Gender Blending on Page. I meant to introduce myself when I got back from break, but then I just started rambling. I've been doing a lot of video editing lately, so it would help me out a lot if you check out my YouTube. I am trying to hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. That's sort of my next internet goal, is to get my YouTube going, because I'm hoping my YouTube and my Twitch can be something that they both support each other. I want to make YouTubes for video that videos for YouTube that sort of prop up my Twitch page, and I want to take my Twitch stuff and put it on YouTube. You notice the last few times I streamed, you would smoke an indica and then get too sleepy. I know, I hate it. But I bought 2 ounces of pretty much mostly indicas from a friend of mine because they were cheap before I moved. Now I've almost smoked through all of it, and Unfortunately, I have to buy expensive weed again, so hopefully I can find it for cheap around here soon. Since I'm in a new place, I don't know everywhere, and I don't have like that many friends in the area. But luckily, I really love the person who I live with right now, and hopefully we'll get a cool roommate soon. But anyways, on my YouTube, I've most recently been posting videos for my Page Plays Final Fantasy IX series. And I've really actually enjoyed doing the video editing. It's been like kind of a fun series to watch. And I hope that I can do it justice going forward. I'm gonna push the game a little forward now, and we're gonna go through a part of the game that I don't really like, which is probably why I stopped playing before. Was that I probably just like didn't want to do this part, so we'll get it out of the way. We'll do it right now, and I'll try not using a guide if possible. We might listen to more Terrence while I play, but I'll talk for now. And we have to switch to my game screen here, and I think we should be pretty much good to go. So let's just see if this works. Okay, that's the save screen, so now we can just grab our chocobos. What we have to do is we have to go to the Desert Palace, which we got this boat for, but we don't need a boat because we have a chocobo. And that's what we use. Speaking of Sleepy, it's time for you to get shut-eye. Nice chatting. Thank you, Cryptid, for being here. I always appreciate your support, as I do the support of everyone who comes to this channel. And, you know, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope that you get good sleep tonight. And I hope that if you stream tomorrow, that you have a really good stream. So I'll talk to you then. Have a good night. Okay, so here we are. And we are going to see if we can go into the Desert Palace here. I always forget how you actually tell. I think there's like a dust cloud if it isn't the one that you don't want to go to. But we have to fight these. I kind of want to turn off the speed mode here. Because I'm not even sure, like, it's been a minute since I did the combat here. I forget how painful these things are. Like, that's pretty rough. Confusion's a pretty hard statistic to have. We'll just try to attack through it and see what happens. Zidane might kill my party here. But luckily we did save, like, right beforehand. I think I should be okay, though. Oh, especially because Zidane attacked that thing. We should be pretty much okay. I didn't expect confusion here, though. And I also thought that I would have had something that defends against confusion. Probably better that Zidane died there, honestly. Like I said, this is kind of an annoying part of the game, so it's kind of not surprising. Nice, Psycho. This game's pretty satisfying, though. I kind of like this party, actually. This is like kind of a sweet party. Aiko's one of my favorite characters. Insomniac. I need something that protects against confusion, probably. Okay, so I'm just gonna heal really quickly. Okay, and then we have speed mode turned off. I'm gonna approach it and see what happens. Oh, it's not even letting me go in, so this must not be the place that we're at. I forget where we're supposed to go right now. That's kind of funny. But we'll be able to find it. I could check out like the last video of me online and just see where I was, because I truly forget which place in the game we're supposed to go, but that's okay because we're kind of chilling anyway. I'll figure it out soon enough. There's only so many places to go. Kind of a sick game. Because we have the ship, which means that we're supposed to be in this, like, region of the world. Maybe we're supposed to go to Black Mage Village? I think that that's where I'm gonna head. I thought I did that before already, and then they were like, you're supposed to go to the Desert Palace, but maybe we're supposed to go to Black Mage Village right now. And then we go to the Desert Palace. This should kill it. Yeah, I figured. I wasn't too worried there. I actually might even, well, no, it doesn't matter. I'll go back to Black Mage Village here. and see if that's the next step for us. I didn't think it was, though. Also, we've mastered some abilities, so it's time to just, like, switch this stuff so that we have some new abilities to learn. So, for those of you who are new to this stream, Final Fantasy IX is one of my favorite games of all time. And I don't know everything about it. I don't really claim to even be that good at like any video game. But I just enjoy the heck out of the game, and so I thought, you know, like this is a great thing to do on stream, of course. And turns out I'm right. And so that's what we're here doing. And we can't go into the desert palace right now. I don't want to fight another sandworm. And I'm actually a little paranoid about the possibility of my party getting wiped. So I'm just gonna heal them just to be safe. And we'll go to the Chocobo, and then we'll get the heck out of here to go to the Black Mage Village. And even though I'm pretty sure that's not where we're supposed to go, but we have the boat, so that means that I thought we were supposed to go to the Desert Palace, but although when we started we were outside of Maiden Sorry, so maybe we're supposed to go there even. We'll see. I also kind of want to check out here and see if there's frogs. Let's actually do that really quickly. Because I checked the other frog place. Griffin, not worried about you. Not worried about it. I think I might have Ultima Weapon on Zidane already. No, you can't get that until you destroy that island, actually. But I definitely have better items for Zidane, but they have to learn the abilities before I can actually give them a better item. We haven't really spent any time leveling up, which is why my party's still weak, even though I have like pretty much all the items that you could have right now. Let's see. Yeah, I have some better items, but I just can't equip them yet. Thievery is a really good skill. Does damage based on how many times you've successfully stolen, if I'm not mistaken. And there might not be any frog catching for me to do here, potentially, truly. I'm gonna get into a fight now, probably by mistake, because I went the wrong way. Okay, let's go up. And let's see if there's adult frogs. There are! Okay, so we can do some frog catching here. Sure, for a little while. And you basically want to catch all the frogs except for 2 of them. Kinda glad that there are some frogs here. Because there weren't frogs at the other place, I wasn't sure how long I was gonna have to wait. I don't think I even get one until 21 frogs. I don't think I get a treasure until 21 frogs, so probably won't happen here. Probably isn't gonna happen. But we'll see. I don't want to catch a baby frog, that's for sure. Okay, there's 3 frogs left. I'll leave those because they just have the highest chance of having mixed genders, which is something that you want. I done catching. Okay, so we have 19 frogs or 20 frogs. That's not bad. To get Quina's ultimate weapon, you gotta have 99 frogs or 100 frogs or whatever. I don't always do it, but may as well drop by when you can, right? Okay, let's go check out Black Mage Village really quick and see what's going on there. There might even be more items for me to buy in Black Mage Village as well. It's one of the better places to buy items at this part of the game. Was there a Black Mage Village in Final Fantasy 1? I feel like there was. Oh, hey, I was right. This is where we had to go. And now they're gonna send us to Desert Palace, probably. So this part's actually really sad then, if this is truly the part of the game that we're in. This kind of sucks. This is a sad part, because Kuja sort of made everything worse, as usual. but Bobby Corwin's around, so let's go check out Bobby. This is what my GIF is. If there's anybody here, you could always put Bobby Corwin's in the chat if you're interested. It's locked. We can't see Bobby right now. Alright, so I don't think that there's really much for us to do here. I think we might be able to get one item here, potentially, that we might not have been able to get before. No, we already got something up here, that's for sure. There might be other items elsewhere, but I'm not sure. I'll just check out every building just to be safe. But I don't think that there are. There could be something behind here, maybe. Doesn't even look like it. A walk in the forest by 234 and 123. 123, 234. Oh, I love all the black mages so very much. And this village is my favorite locale in Final Fantasy IX for sure. I actually started making one of the huts in Blender. They're just cute. Everything about this game is cute. Hey, I don't know how I didn't grab that before. Look at the kitty. Well, I'll run up here just to be safe. I'm pretty sure I got these items, but I also thought I would have gotten the 2000 gil. Hey, look at that. Apparently I didn't get these. I don't know how I didn't, because normally I'm always stoked to get these items. I thought there were 2 up here, but I could be wrong. I leave open that possibility. I guess that was the only one. Maybe you can't get that item until now. Okay, now we gotta do the sad scene. Here we go. This is Vivi's existential crisis number 22. Where is everyone? They went away with Kuja. 2 other guys stayed behind. They're probably at the Chocobo's shack. Why? Why did they go with him? They learned about our lifespan. We can live for only a given amount of time. Kuja said that he knew how to extend our lifespan, so everyone followed him. The classic extend your lifespan deal that the big bad gives. He's lying. He's been using us and treating us like puppets. Maybe we are just puppets created to serve humans. That's nonsense. Where did they go? I can't tell you. I can't betray them. Please, number 288, you're our only hope. Why don't you go with them? The other 2 guys are in the Chocobo shack. Bobby Corwin, number 288. Oh my god. The Black Mages are so sad. I love the music and how it like fades in and out there. Hi, is anyone there? Please. Bobby Corwin. It's born! And it's like they're facing their death, but here's the birth of a new creature, the best character in Final Fantasy IX. Can we please get some Bobby Corwins in chat? I'm gonna put one out there. I mean, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, so I don't know who's here, but I'll put out my own Bobby Corwins in chat at the very least. Thank you all for being here. This is the beautiful Bobby Corwin, my favorite Final Fantasy IX character, and I love the beak on this Chocobo right here. Oh, they're so cute. Look at all the Chocobos they drew. Oh my god. I love this game so much. And look at the mushrooms in the bottom. Oh, you can't see the mushrooms in the bottom left cam. Hold on. Full screen, no webcam. Look at the mushrooms by Zidane's feet. Oh my god, they're so cute. Oh, I love it so much. What a good game. This is the best game, literally. I'm sorry, I don't have a Bobby Corwin to put. Oh yeah, I guess you have to be a subscriber, huh? I forgot about that. I thought that like anybody who like followed me could do a Bobby Corwin emote to actually chat. But anyways, let me go back to my webcam. Actual, here we go. Okay, hooray! Oh, by the way, Jeb Lunch, thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you here. The wrench is a very versatile tool. So it's a pretty good one. My name is Paige, and this is Gender Blending, and I do a bunch of different things. I'm kind of a variety streamer, and lately I've been playing Final Fantasy IX. I have, oh, I love the love. I've been working on my YouTube lately, and I've been like putting out my Final Fantasy videos, and I've really had a lot of fun editing those videos and going through the game. So I decided, hey, tonight let's just do a late night push the game forward stream. And it was a good choice because here we are with Bobby Corwin, and we kept the egg nice and warm. Roger, without him, the light will have nothing to warm. Bobby Corwin. Without him, Roger will have nothing to hatch into. I don't know. I can't wait to show him to everyone. They're gonna be so happy. Oh, the black mages are so innocent. They're so cute. 288 is the best though. We have to come up with a name. What's happening to me? I feel strange. It's love. You have a child. It's like my computer. Which is my child. For those of you who don't know, I call my computer trans resistor. And it's as close to my child as a computer probably can be. You stayed behind because you were worried about the chocobo egg. I don't know, says Black Mage 288. I want to follow Kuja because I was scared of dying. But I couldn't. I felt like I was leaving something important behind. Dot 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 dot. I want to ask you something, Mr. 288. What? Tell me. Am I gonna stop soon too? Vivi, oh my god, you're gonna stop my heart because you're melting it. I don't know. Who just said the prototype would last longer? Interesting. What do they call that? What do they call that when it's on purpose? A planned obsolescence or whatever? Oh gosh, they implanted obsolescence into the later black mages. I was really confused when Quan died. He told me, Vivi, you go fuck yourself. No, he didn't say that. He said, no need to be sad. So I told myself I can't be sad. That's when I felt confused again, when I heard that everyone was stopping around here. I didn't know what to do or what to feel. When I saw Dagger crying when her mom died, I wasn't confused anymore. I was just sad. Yes, planned obsolescence. Okay, I was right. Nice. I got it right. Even if I were a puppet, I would have never felt that way. Am I just a puppet? We aren't puppets. Okay, thanks, Vivi. I know we aren't. I hate him. He's your father, Vivi. He's turning everyone into puppets. Capitalism is doing that, not Kuja. I know everyone would understand. It's because of Queen Braun. It's not fair, Vivi. We found the location of the secret palace. Not so secret anymore. Huh, Kuja. We'll need a ship to get there, and maybe we'll need a dark blue bird. Maybe we'll need a dark blue bird. Maybe he has so much on his mind. Unlike me, he's fighting so hard. Thought I would change. Once I ascended to the throne, I knew I had to change, but nothing has changed. I'm so helpless. Same. Were you listening too? Crybaby's come a long way. Are you alright? Oh, Aiko's such a good character. Vivi has his own way of dealing with things. Come on, we'll beat Kuja. You'll have your voice back. I forgot, she's silenced right now. Is something wrong? Silence is such an interesting condition when you think about it, as like a status effect. Mr. 288 said Kuja's palace is buried under quicksand, right? Yep. Or taking the ship to the eastern side of the continent to get there. Cool, thank you for the directions. No X on the map that you follow, and the game's in the 2000s, that's for sure. Thanks everybody for being here. My name's Paige. It's neat that they extend her being silent in and out of battle, right? And I think they do that. They don't silence Cloud in Final Fantasy IX, but Cloud leaves your, or 7, but Cloud does leave your party for a while when he like kind of goes crazy. But yeah, it is interesting that they silence her in and out of battle. I was just kind of thinking about silence in terms of like gender, sort of, to be honest. That's where my mind was going when I sort of made that content. I talk a lot about gender on the show and social justice in regards to technology and stuff, and silence, I don't know, I'm just thinking about that as like a condition that someone would like feel silent, like just like I'm just thinking about the implications. I don't know if there is an implications there. I'm just like sort of like thinking about it is all. That's all. I'm just thinking about it. I could go to the Artemisian place, but I think we're gonna do the Desert Palace. I really don't want to, truthfully. Really don't want to do this, but we'll do it. Because you know, you got to do this to get to the other good parts of the game, like when you get to go and do everything at the end of the game, which is amazing. So let's save and let's jump in. Kira Desert. One of my family members is named after this desert, I can only imagine. Okay, I always forget which one you're supposed to go in. I forget if you go in when it is dusty or you observe them and you do the one that's not dusty, in which case it would be this one. I was right. I'm rarely right on the first try, but look at me being smart. I knew you'd come. Everything's going according to plan. Well, I'm glad that I could do a favor for you. Oh no, I'm really bad at the part that's coming up. I could even like potentially get a game over because I'm just so bad. I'm like so bad at this next part, but I'll do my very darndest. It's like a red light, green light type of situation, and I'm like one of the most like, I'm probably like the worst red light, green light players. I really am not a fan of the game. I do poorly under that kind of pressure. But we'll see. We'll see how we do with frog light, weasel light, or whatever it's called. You rat bastard, Kujo. Where are my friends? Sedane's such a good protagonist. My, aren't we feisty? I'm a big fan of the word feisty, personally. I haven't done this in like 20 years. Exactly, Jeb Wrench. This part of the game, when you have to use all your party members, even though you probably have at least one or two that you haven't used. It's no good. Kuja, you're dead. Oh dear, was this something I said? That rhymed, unintentional. Either way, now that you're awake, aware of your predicament, I'd like you to do a tiny little favor for me. Can you please do some frog stuff? I think you can say never. Let's see. No, I think it's just gonna do this, yeah. I'm gonna be stubborn though. Damn it, I don't have a choice. I think you actually do have a choice. This part of the game's so lame. But you gotta have the lame parts though. I wonder if when they were making this part of the game, they like knew it was gonna be lame. The scenery is pretty fucking amazing though. Like honestly, the more that I play this game, the more that I like just come to appreciate these pre-rendered backgrounds. They're so fucking beautiful. Hey Sid, I need you to look after the others. Fine, I won't let you down, Ribbit. And you, Ribbit, you come back safe. Frog Sid. I think you can literally only go the one direction, but let's look for treasure. Okay, there's nothing here for me, so. And now I believe that Zidane gets teleported to Kuja's chambers. And I actually get like one of my favorite cards for Tetramaster in this building. I don't think I can get it in this scene. Maybe I can because I can walk around freely. Let's see. Fuck, no, you can't. You might be able to get it at the end. But I forget what the name of the card is, but you get a card in this room. I remember it like carried me through every Tetramaster match through the end of the game. But if it doesn't have good arrows, then you're basically screwed. So now we gotta go to Oiliver. I don't know if that's how you say it at all, but it's this basically like anti-magic place that Kuja can't go. Isn't my kind of place. Kuja, you're so sick. Anti-magic barrier. You're too stupid to use magic. I can't go there because there's an anti-pretty barrier. I'll even send you on my luxury cruise ship so you don't have to worry about transportation. Let me take my blue bird, please. You're giving me bluebirds. Perhaps it's too much for you. I'd better send you with the 3 of your friends just to be safe. Besides, nobody likes to fight against themselves. Never mind. Speak their names when you've chosen your partners. Okay, so one group has to go to this place that's like anti-magic. I think it's anti-magic if I recall correctly. I think you want to send like I'm just gonna do the party that I had. It was, I know Aiko's magic, but whatever. And we'll put Amrit and Quina in here. We'll keep the party we had. I think that that's just fine, honestly. Fine, I'll summon them. Pico. And we get a bonus mog here. That's kind of sweet. Now we can't do any Chocobo Hot and Cold until we beat this part, so we're basically obligated to if I ever just want to hang out and play Chocobo Hot and Cold again. We'll see how far we get. I don't know how far we'll get tonight. Because we gotta do this part, but then there's like another part that we have to do on the same continent, if I'm not mistaken. I forget the order of events here. But we're basically gonna do the Orlivert place, and then after that, we come back and the other party's doing Desert Palace. But what's kind of sweet is that I think I can get Freya's ultimate weapon, actually, potentially, soon. We'll see. We'll see how it works. You better keep your promise, Kuja. Of course. Needn't worry one bit. All our music. I do have all the Final Fantasy music, the sheet music, and I've played it all before, but a lot of the sheet music is like kind of poor quality, and like it can be kind of hard to read some of the notes. Like they're like really fuzzy on the page. It makes it surprisingly hard. One of my favorites to play, actually, other than like the biggest ones like Melodies of Life, the Treno song's pretty sick, but I really love playing the Rose of May theme, the Beatrix theme. I'm super into that one. I think I could just attack through these and I'll probably be just like fine, frankly. Like probably most of these battles I can just straight up attack through, and I might even just speed through it because like I want to just get to the next continent so that I can get on the Chocobo again. I feel like empty without a Chocobo. Like personally, if I leave to like go take on the day and I don't have a necklace on, then I feel naked. Very similarly, if I'm playing a Final Fantasy game and I'm not riding around on a Chocobo, I feel like a little bit naked, truthfully. And now I'm aware that that's something that a lot of people want. But listen, I should be able to decide when I want to feel that way. Hey, can we really trust Kuja? They're not gonna listen to you, Zidane. They drank the fucking Kool-Aid. Can we really trust Kuja to say something? They will not answer to you. Respond to our orders, only they do. Zorn and Thorn are so freaking gross. Slanderous words they are, worst lies I've never heard. You needn't concern yourself with such things. Obey as these mages do. Okay, let's get to the continent, please. They've grown attached to life, yet they'll soon disappear. Them.